because something's just not right with the stream today. I just can't believe it, folks. You know, when you do these podcasts live and you're hosting at the same time, and also I want to apologize for the audio issues, which I didn't even know about. Nobody even mentioned it to me that there were audio issues with the Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. We're still working on it. Just realized the difficulties of broadcasting at a live bar. You've got 300 people here. You're blasting the speakers, and there are so many moving parts, and only one of me to go around when you really need a 5-man crew to do this kind of podcast. I didn't know. So, but we're working on it. That's why I'm here at American Whiskey right now at 51 Edison Place, because I'm just looking at how we're going to improve the sound quality at this live bar in the playoffs, because the Devils are definitely going to the playoffs. And Facebook Live. Hello, Facebook Live. I'm just going to say hello to everybody there. And Vitek Vanacek getting 30 wins. 30 wins since Marty Brodeur, which is a huge feat for the Devils. And goaltending, well, last season, including with the E-Bug, I think the Devils went through 7 goaltenders, right? Am I right? 7 goaltenders last season. And, you know, it's just mind-boggling. Just mind-boggling where they were last season and where they are this season. But the Devils took a big leap forward. This was the playoffs started yesterday against the New York Rangers. Okay, like against the Islanders and against the Minnesota Wild, that was just kind of like preseason for the playoffs. But yesterday was game 1 of the playoffs, or at least in my mind. And the Devils passed the first test. Now, they got to make sure that they go into Chicago, take care of business, and then go up to Winnipeg the next day, the second half of a back-to-back this weekend, and completely annex Canada, which I believe would be, I think the Devils already have that NHL record of just streaking through Canada. And they did the Western Canadian trip, swept that. They swept through the Eastern Canada trip. Now they're going down the middle, down to Winnipeg for the cherry on the top. And I think that's just going to be absolutely, absolutely amazing if they can do that. Something that, you know what, we'd be talking about for years, how just the Canadian teams couldn't beat the New Jersey Devils on their own home soil. Something to brag about. But, yeah, I mean, and what about Palat and Eric Holla? Let's start off with Eric Holla yesterday. Both Holla and Nico Hischier taking a maintenance day today at practice. And, yeah, it's expected. They deserve it. They played a fierce game yesterday. Holla, you know, I don't have the stat in front of me. I'm going to look it up right now. But fans have been complaining about the Holla-Zacha trade. The Devils have a lot of Zakas on the team. Not so much, physically, but they got enough Zakas. But for the intangibles, the guys are taking face-offs. Eric Holla and Mikey McLeod are just owning it. And some of those key face-offs that Holla won was really the difference maker, of the game. Just one big piece of why the Devils won. But Eric Holla scoring his 10th goal of the season. Didn't I tell you Eric Holla is going to be heating up for the Devils? Didn't I tell you that? That don't worry about the first half of the season. He just wasn't finishing. But wait till he starts finishing, and then he starts getting into his playoff mode. He was in beast mode yesterday. Absolutely just all over the ice. Got the second star of the game. Timo Meier scored his 36th goal of the season last night. Timo Meier now starting to get acclimated and adjusted with his new teammates. And in regards to Timo Meier's contract status, well, he's looking pretty comfortable there. And you know what? My gut feeling is that deal is already done. It's just a matter of time. And that was something I was legitimately worried about, why I said the Devils didn't need Timo Meier. But if you're going to get Timo Meier, just like Tom Fitzgerald, you want to be able to negotiate. But right now, Timo Meyer's a New Jersey Devil. I would assume that he will be with the New Jersey Devils for a while. And let's see. Let's see here. Just looking on the Facebook Live. Oh, we do have the Facebook Live. Oh, the Facebook Live is working. My apologies. Yes, I see it right now. Something happened. YouTube sometimes does the stupidest things. But yeah, so it went. Anyway, I'll change that up a little bit later. Yes, I am back. Joseph Lanham. Felix says I'm living at 51 Edison Place at American Whiskey. Payne, do I live here? Do I live here? They say I live here at 51 Edison Place.
I mean, you don't live here, but you're here often enough.
Yeah.
You live here more than you do.
Yeah, so Peyton actually lives here. Right. Peyton, as you know, from Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. Also, build a statue, Felix says. Reference to Lindy Ruff saying that, the Marty Brodeur statue and the way Vitek Vanacek played last night. Getting, again, at one point in the game, the Devils owned the faceoffs, but eventually the Rangers did catch up. But Holla had a lot to do with that in the beginning. Felix says the Pacific Division champs, Canadian annexation banners. Let's see here. Easy win, honestly. Wasn't even close. Tony P., you know what, Tony P.? Let me tell you something. The Rangers, the New York Rangers, their entire history is just a mirage. It's like rosy picture that's painted about this quote-unquote tradition of winning, history, all that kind of stuff. The only thing that they've ever accomplished, only one Stanley Cup after the post-Original Six era is kind of pathetic. What do you think? Both the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers only have had, well, actually, the Toronto Maple Leafs, no, I think the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't think the Toronto Maple Leafs have won a Stanley Cup post-Original Six era. I think they won, they were the last, that's the last time they won it was 67. So, only one cup in that time period, over 50 years for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers. Look, the older I get, the happier I get. You know why? Because it's 1 year further from 1994, which still gives me nightmares to this day. And this is why, you don't want to be complacent when dealing with New York Rangers fans. You got to get them when they're young. You got to be intimidating, because it used to be a Devils Rangers game at the old Meadowlands. It was a dogfight. It was definitely a dogfight between the fans. It always got very interesting. The Rangers fans always say, "Oh, you have no fans. You have no fans." I can eat your Stanley Cup Finals, Game 2. I walked to the box office and got a ticket, which everybody knows that's not true. Definitely not true. So, but also seeing some of your comments here. Let's see here. Felix says Rangers fans know the Devils are the better team. They definitely know, and they definitely know a dynasty's in the making. They've already experienced it before with Lou Lamoriello. Let me tell you. The Ranger fans know that they have to win this year or else. And by the way, the joke that I played at American Whiskey was July 24th, 2023 is the last day Madison Square Garden can operate with a special permit of an occupancy of 2,500 plus capacity. That runs out because there are rumors and there are news reports that the state of New York and the city of New York want to demolish Madison Square Garden and replace it with a train station, which the old Penn Station, if those that were old enough to remember, was a beautiful train station that just got knocked down to make way of Madison Square Garden, which they've only had, 2 championships with the New York Knicks and 1 Stanley Cup with the New York Rangers, which you can make that argument back in 1994 was really a transplant and taking advantage of the economy, the currency, where the American dollar was much stronger than the Canadian dollar. And what would happen is the Edmonton Oilers would have to make these ridiculous trades with the New York Rangers, who had the money at the time with no salary cap, and basically transplanted the Edmonton Oilers into the 1994 New York Rangers, and then take a couple Blackhawks like Steve Larmer and some of these players over, and that's how they won the Cup. You know, that's how they won the Cup. And they say, oh, the cornerstones of the franchise, Mike Richter and Brian Leach and Kovalov, you know, they're original Rangers. No. You basically bought it through Mark Messier. And back in those days, you could buy championships. Because why? Because there was no salary cap. But, yeah. Let's see. Selector Boy says, thank God you're back. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. I will upload a full version of this podcast on YouTube a little bit later, but we got the YouTube Live going. Also, my Twitter fan, Primetime Woo fan, has been commenting on the Twitter live feed. And I was just looking at it right now, but yeah. And enjoyed that victory. Enjoyed the victory yesterday. Enjoy it, folks, because you know what? You deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. And this should be a Happy Devils Friday for you. You've waited 10 years for this moment. But I can't wait for the playoffs. That's why I'm here at American Whiskey. We're planning it right now. This is the place to be. It's going to be a place to be both home and away, because we're going to be working on something, hopefully, and make it happen, which would be great. Devils take a big step forward. Tomorrow we'll have Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. It's going to be a good one, folks. Got to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. Vinny Parisi of Game Day Live and pucksandpitchforks.com will be in Chicago at the game. We'll have to figure out how to do that. And also, Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal and I will recap the game that was. And also, because of the Sunday game against the Winnipeg Jets, the Sunday edition, 9 p.m. Sunday edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast will be preempted to make way for Devils After Dark. Maybe Beer Baron will show up. I don't know. We haven't talked yet. But want to thank all those tuning in on this beautiful Happy Devils Monday. I got to get out of here. I gotta finish up my green salad over here. And and by the way, whoever gave me the box of pizza yesterday, I told that story to the nurse that drew blood because I had a cholesterol test at 9 a.m. this morning, and she didn't believe me because she asked me the question, have you been fasting? And I had to show her the video. Look, this random guy gave me a box of pizza. It was a nice, juicy pepperoni pizza, which, I donated to the staff, the hardworking staff, Peyton and all them working here. So thank you. And also, Selected Boy says, and hopefully they do not play down to the Blackhawks. Absolutely. You don't want to play down to the Blackhawks. Also, Paul Marino, thank you for coming on to the podcast. Yesterday, John Marino's dad was here at American Whiskey. He was having a great time, commenting that how nice people in New Jersey are. And I told him, we get a bad rap, reputation, and it's not true. It's just not true. And he knows it. He's from Boston. He should understand. But, yeah. All right, well, going to get out of here. Rest of my day. There may be another Woo report tonight. I'm not sure. We'll let you know. But, just wanted to just stop in and just say, hey, great time yesterday. This is a great place, American Whiskey. We've got big plans in the works with them, the fine folks here. The podcast is expanding. I don't know if you've noticed. We're starting to do things. We may start doing things out in the street. You never know. Great crowd last night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the fans out there, all you listeners, viewers, whatnot. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes for your afternoon commute so you can enjoy it, milk it some more. I hope the water cooler talk today was great at work when that obnoxious Ranger fan is nowhere to be found, but then once you find him, you just, thumb your nose at him like, yeah, the New Jersey Devils just kicked your ass. That's what I say. All right. Thank you, everybody. Till next time, this is the Will Report. Let's go Devils.